remember.
Yeah.
Or he had to create a Dropbox folder to add them all to.
Yeah.
Each
I'm not
week.
worth all that, but
He already pulls the majority of the books.
mm-hmm.
Click of the week. Oh, you got here twice.
Yeah, exactly. How do I get rid of the other one?
Which one? The one static needs to go?
Yeah.
Eject.
Can you beat that one?
Yeah.
Nice. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah, like it's all sort of acting up today for everybody. So
this is multiple man.
Who knows? They might have actually done a little bit of support for Hangouts.
Yeah, kind of doubt it at this point. There we go. 5 megabyte limit. I was wondering what was going on with that.
Oh, there's her last night was stuff to get caught up for this week. I had to go back and read Superman from like 2 weeks ago, so then I could read this week's, which of course I still didn't get to this week's.
Yeah, there's a couple of books I got to do that for.
Yo, real quick, Classic was emailing myself and emailing me, and he's looking for someone to go on Know the Score, the sports podcast, on Saturday morning. I don't know if you guys are available.
I am not.
I was about to say, Tim, he's talking to you because I don't do sports.
and second, I bring in the same conversation I said I was hoping to record the new Treasury edition. I was going to broach the topic tonight to talk about the entire season of Cage. You finished it, Tim?
Yeah.
All right. So, Roddy, you finished it, I presume, by now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dirt said he's not going to watch it. Classic also mentioned that I guess since we already did a chunk of Cage, he also mentioned we may want to talk about some of the other TV shows, the other comic book TV shows that people are watching. Although the only thing I watch is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm kind of useless on that end, you know?
I mean, I've been watching everything, but that seems to be a good bit to go through in that topic. But
yeah, I mean, we could just like skim, like thoughts on the opening of each show's latest season. You know what I mean? Something simple. I wouldn't go too in depth, like episode by episode.
Plus, the seasons are still fresh, so there's not too much to discuss.
Right,
there is that. Yeah,
it just it depends on when it's scheduled to be.
Oh, I know.
If I can do it or not.
I know. I mean, I don't know if you guys would be available at all on Saturday to do it at some point. Sunday's out because my Sundays are way too jam-packed unless it's at night, like super late, but then everyone wants to get ready to go to work or whatever, so.
Yeah, I'm unavailable this weekend.
Oh, totally?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you do it early in the week.
We could. That's an option. If we did it like Monday or Tuesday, so it doesn't interfere with whatchamacallit?
Tuesday.
You know?
Well, shit.
What do you got going on?
No, I'm out of town till Tuesday, I guess. I don't know if I want to record right when I get back Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. It's all right.
So, yeah.
It's tough, and I don't know if anyone wants to record tomorrow. It's Friday night. People got things to do, you know?
I don't, but that's me.
Yeah, from like tomorrow through Tuesday, I'll be gone. It's homecoming weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, since Roddy and I already did like a chunk of the talk about Cage, I don't want to cut out people like from who really should talk about it. You know, we want to hear what everyone else has to think, and not just me and Roddy.
Right. There we go. That one works.
You know, I want to open it
we
up
need to get
to.
started.
I want to open it up to whatchamacallit, to other people on the CSPN too.
Yeah, for sure.
Is everyone ready?
Oh shit! I didn't read Infamous Iron Man. Oh well.
I didn't read it either.
I did.
That's
I can talk about it.
terrible. It's terrible, man. I'm having some issues with my Chrome right now. It's like I'm not logged in. It's something I'm not logged in, and I want to pull up the scripts. 1 second. Give me 1 second to open this up, and then.
Hey, we could talk about the Nintendo Switch. No, I'm just kidding.
You can bring it up.
No. This has nothing to do with it.
Need to have a video game podcast.
I was thinking that yesterday.
Make it monthly. And you got to be every week.
Yeah, because I was about to say, like, there aren't that many updates to video games that you got to do it every week, right?
It was more monthly to be more conducive to other people's schedules.
Well, yeah.
If you want to do it weekly.
Now I'm sitting here trying to think, because I mean,
all right, I think I'm good to go.
What you want to do in a show, though, but
I did tweet out a link if someone's looking for a video game job. Comicbook.com. So I guess looking for a senior video game editor.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Hey, Roddy,
Branch
you may want to apply.
Yeah, look into it.
You may want to apply. All right. Actually, you know what? Let me take this week's comics out of the paper bag so they don't make crazy noise later. And then I should be good to go because it looks like I'm logged in where I need to be logged in.
Oh, yeah, and which book do we want to start with this week?
I didn't read that much. I can't believe I missed freaking.
We got a couple of books.
All this stuff.
Yeah, maybe we could start with the ending books.
Yeah, we got I got like 3 books to send them. Wait.
Well, you got was that the last Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Ant-Man, A-Force, and Mockingbird.
You know what's funny is that I read 2 of those, Ant-Man and A-Force, because I knew they were ending. So we could talk about those.
So we'll do Ant-Man first.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Ready to roll?
Yeah. All right, start broadcast. And welcome to another exciting episode of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles.
Yeah!
I'm your host, Tim D-O-double-G.
Welcome back, Tim.
Back after my 1-week hiatus. Back to talk about some comics. But I'm joined by the man behind the sound effects at Agent_70 on Twitter.
What's up, everybody?
And we also have at Roddy Cat on Twitter.
Hey, how's it going?
There he is. Had to put the camera on you for a second there. Make sure you got your shout out. And hopefully joining us later tonight will be at PCN_Dirt from PopCultureNetwork.com. And while you're going to websites, go to thekliqnation.com where you can find previous episodes of the Comic Book Chronicles and comic book reviews and news. And on the homepage, you'll see nice links to our social media accounts. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google+. Subscribe to the podcast
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram's coming. Under Comic Book Chronicles. And what's the panels one?
CB Caps.
CB Caps.
Yeah.
And subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, Google Play, and TuneIn Radio. And especially on iTunes, make sure to give us 5-star reviews, leave us feedback. We appreciate it. Help us move up the podcast rankings. We are part of the Cold Slither Podcast Network. Go to cspn.us. Do it today.
Do it today.
And buy merchandise from the Comic Book Chronicles shop. Go to redbubble.com/people/CSPN/shop. Alrighty. So we're past New York Comic Con. All the nice comic book announcements have been made. Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of movie news as far as trailers released this week, but we'll get to that after our comic book reviews.
So stay tuned.
So as we discussed pre-show, there were a couple of Marvel comics that reached their ends this week. The Astonishing Ant-Man, Mockingbird, and what was the third?
A-Force.
A-Force. So we're going to start with those books this week. And first up is going to be The Astonishing Ant-Man number 13.
Yes.
All right.
Which I think Roddy Cat and Age of 70 both read.
Yippers. Yeah, and it's pretty sad that this book is ending. Not that it's, not that any of these endings are deserved, but obviously sales are just not supporting these books being, the continued publication of these books. It's a shame because Astonishing Ant-Man has been a consistently strong read for me for many, many months now. And this issue is the finale of a fairly end-to-end storyline that Nick Spencer has told in this book. It's about over the course of 2 volumes. It's about Scott Lang's relocation to Miami, and kind of trying to create a new life for himself down there. And he's gotten into some hot water. We left in the middle of, spoiler alert, the criminal trial of Scott Lang, and without going into too much spoiler territory, because you really do need to read issue number 12 to understand what's going on in issue number 13. Scott Lang is on trial for breaking into Cross Technologies, and all sorts of mayhem ensues because it's classic superhero against supervillain in the midst of a courtroom battle going on. And there's some family drama that actually gets resolved in this issue too, on the, in the Lang clan. So there's a lot of resolution. There are many plot lines that get resolved in this issue. It was all in all, I think, a pretty it's a pretty good step forward for the character, in my opinion, because there's a couple of dangling plot lines, that were resolved over the last few issues, involving Scott, his cohorts, colleagues, and now his family. And it kind of doesn't wrap up in a nice bow, but it does, leave itself in a place to be followed up.
Yeah.
Is he still in jail when the book ends?
Spoiler alert. No. Okay. What do you think of it, Roddy?
So yeah, I thought it was a fairly neat wrap up to it. You get the issue was mostly about the dynamic between Scott and Cassie, which has been a long running thing between them two. Even with all of the bad stuff that has happened to both of them, in history. I enjoyed that part a lot. I enjoyed the courtroom fight. The little bit of product placement that was there, like when Beetle and him and Janice was talking, like right before they went back into trial, before all of the shenanigans happened.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Of course, Darla's there, so and during the fight we get Thing rings again, which I very much appreciate as being an old Thing cartoon.
I totally forgot about that, man. I was just like, what is that?
Yes. It was a beautiful thing, and she even said the phrase too, and so it was all beautiful. But yeah, like I said, it does wrap up pretty neatly. I thought there was one part of it that I thought was kind of silly, but at the same time, par for the course for this book, because
what part was that? I'll ring the spoiler bell.
Yeah, I mean, we find out the reason why Janice, aka the Beetle, was the one prosecuting Scott, because she was trying to get something from him.
Oh yeah,
aka the Pym particles that
right.
he has, because didn't want to be the one insect themed.
That was pretty good.
Villain.
She didn't want to be the only insect themed hero or villain that didn't actually change size. Exactly. So I thought that was pretty good.
Which, Black Widow side. But anyway,
I'm surprised Spencer didn't put that in.
Well, I think you probably even said villain.
Oh, okay, did say villain.
I can't remember, and I don't have it. I should
flip the book over.
But yeah,
you got me curious enough now.
But I thought it was like, yeah, they were only having sex so because she thought that she could get the Pym particles transferred that way, and since that was a disappointment, she went to sue in his ass.
Oh no, she said, it says, do you have any idea what it's like being one of the only insect named supers that can't shrink? It's humiliating. It's one of the only, so I guess she's not saying that she's the only.
Right. Okay. Well, still.
Yeah, right. There's our no prize.
Yeah. But yeah, when things sort of jump into the fight and it starts picking up, and I thought that the fight itself was interesting because of the fact that there was some movie tie-in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because of the suit Cross has on.
Sure, I was waiting for the choo-choo train, the Thomas the Tank.
I know, right? I did too. I was like, which is why I said my notes was like, well, the movie didn't exactly go like that, but it is what it is. So, but all in all, I enjoyed reading this, and like I said, it was kind of touching at the end because you get the thing between Peggy and Scott, them getting to a different place, and him saying that Cassie's his hero as opposed to the other way around, and even going throughout the book saying, hey, she's way better than this, and I could see them kind of coming back with it like an Ant-Man and Stinger book, actually.
Yeah. And it's funny that I was about to say, and it's funny that that she'll be here, that she would be in that kind of book, as opposed to maybe the Champions book. Maybe she's
or that
beyond being in the Champions level because she's already been a Young Avenger.
Right. I mean, hell, that could still be in there. We don't know how far Champions is going, so
true.
Cool. Yeah, did they have a nice little thing, nice letter page with the quote from the writer and whatnot, saying keep your eyes peeled to see Ant-Man again soon.
I don't remember, and I did.
No, I've got the physical. I've got the physical copy in front of me, and there is no such page.
Okay.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. To which, because we do see similar things in the other two books.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I read some book that I felt like just ended, or maybe I was reading the letter page to the last A-Force, I think.
Yeah.
Which I guess transition.
Yeah, we can get into that now.
Yeah.
A-Force number 10.
A-Force number 10.
Sadly enough, did not make it to 11, 12, or 13.
No, not so much. But in this book, we have the wrap up to the book and the arc. But so apparently Ulysses' vision came true in a certain speaking, because what ends up happening, spoiler alert.
Hold on.
Is after everything that's happening and everybody in the town turning into bugs because of this one girl/bug creature that is the cause of all this, Nico ends up having to, after trying to think of other ways to fix the situation, and all of our other teammates turning into said bugs, she actually had to go ahead and do what the vision said, and kill the girl whose name was Alice. But it turns out good, because apparently the girl didn't die. She was actually some actual green bug monster, to which we don't know from where or whence.
I love the description, because that's kind of what I thought too when I read it.
Yeah. So and there's looks to be some kind of I don't know the word I'm looking for. The team kind of came back together to think, because the whole thing started from the Vision and the rift between Nico and Captain America Captain Marvel because of the Vision, which started that whole chain of reaction going off in the first place. And then they got to a place, and at the end of the book, they went to see Jennifer, who was still at the time laid up in the hospital, still green. And thus ended the book. And it did have a letters page of saying, hey, enjoyed writing the book, and pretty much saying that, hey, if you want to see more of this, write Marvel, maybe try to get some more type of situation. But yeah, like I said, it wrapped up about as good as it's probably going to with all of that.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to that, I thought that I had stopped reading A-Force for a while, and it just wasn't compelling. Although I love the character interaction, and that was the selling point.
Yeah,
it was a huge selling point for this book. The characters and how they interacted was a real draw for me, at least through the first maybe 6 or 7 issues. Or maybe 5 or 6 issues. I think I dropped it right around the midway point of the series. And it looks like I haven't really missed anything, but it still felt like it was worth reading just to see and observe the interactions between these characters, who obviously were brought together in a very contrived way through Secret Wars, but at the same time, it was a very cool, they still interacted sort of how you would expect them to, even if you had never read an issue of Secret War, the A-Force limited series from Secret Wars. So it all felt very much in character, as opposed to how a lot of this stuff in Civil War 2 is not in character for so many of these characters. So
right.
It was very, like I said, it's very, it was a very nice send off. Well, actually, I don't know if I said this yet, but it's a very nice send-off for these characters as a group, and hopefully we see them again soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Then now that I'm thinking about it, and you spoke of the character interactions, it does kind of remind me, because that's kind of been the theme throughout the whole book, depending on who's been writing it. And another thing, at the end of it kind of reminded me of the X-Men book with the female led, the Storm one, which.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that book.
Yeah,
Brian Wood wrote it, right?
G. Willow Wilson. There was a couple of people who wrote that book, because I think it changed hands. But
yeah, G. Willow, I think, did an arc on it.
Yeah, I think she might have did the middle arc on that, because it changed hands a couple of times, or at least once or twice. And I can't remember if Brian Wood was on the book in the beginning or not. But regardless, it kind of had that kind of dynamic to it, and that's why I appreciated it for that. And they were even poised to add another teammate to the book, if it probably would have lasted, or assuming they were going to add the person to the list. So. But yeah, it was a good send off. Hopefully, maybe we'll see some more of them in the future.
And the last book to end this week from Marvel was Mockingbird number 8.
Very sad to see this go.
Yes,
this book has also been one that's been really great. Was that?
I thought it was a limited series when it began, so it actually lasted longer than I thought.
Yeah, that's the key. It lasted longer than any of us thought.
Because I remember when we first talking about it, I could have sworn they said it was. I probably should look back and check.
Like a 4 or 5 issue limited series.
I thought it said 6.
I thought it was 5, to be honest, but.
Nah, well, like I said, when I remember us talking about it, I thought they said 6. I could be wrong. I don't know. But then we saw it, go past that. And I guess, because we got kind of word that it was actually an ongoing, or some kind of word that it was. Nevertheless, it's ending now, and kind of sudden, because they even mentioned in an article that would come up later about they didn't even wait to see the trade go on sale to see how that goes, which is not totally normal, but I guess it is what it is. So getting to the plot, Bobby's still on the cruise ship with Hunter, and come to find out that the person that has been responsible for her being there is one Lincoln slayed the Phantom Rider. You know, which harkens back to a bad part of Wacko's history.
Really? Oh, the Phantom Rider.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Remember when she got kidnapped and
yes, and went back in time. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And essentially caused her and Clint to get divorced, except for the fact that in this book, which is the part I'm not crazy about, they revised some of that shit because there's two things. One, in the course of the book, Bobby, at the end of the book, when all is said and done, Bobby says that Clint did not divorce her because of that, and that he pretty much he pretty much made up the drug part because he was trying to deal with the fact that she was cheating on him, which I'm saying like, no, she wasn't. That's dumb. She was kidnapped and, and drugged and made to love the dude. So that, and the fact that in the beginning of the book, there was something about excessive wooing as opposed to her being, raped, which was the original thing. So they revised a couple of things on that, and that part was kind of, both of those parts was really weird. Okay. Outside of that, the stuff leading up to this to that was actually pretty good, because you see the fight between the people, Bobby Hunter, the people on the cruise ship fighting Phantom Rider, which is a ship full of nerds, so it goes off kind of spectacularly.
Photon blast. No,
magic missile.
I'm just flipping through this. It looks like so much fun.
It is, and like I said, up until the point to where the revision comes in, it was like, I'm like, okay, this is funny Sunday, because there's so much silliness that comes up. Like you got were-corgis, mare-corgis, not were-corgis. Excuse me. You have that whole thing with the,
I saw a flowchart in here. The Ghost Cowboy Stalker X-Plan Flowchart 3B.
Progressive feminist ghost pirates. A dog named Sensei Ping. So it's just a lot of real fun stuff that happened to it. But
that is funny. This looks good. I'm looking forward to reading this.
Yeah. If you have a chance to read it, please do.
Definitely. Got my physical copy right here. Make sure to flip through it.
And as with the A-Force, there was a slight impassion. Well, the article says it because Chelsea Kane, the writer of the book, was on Twitter saying, "Hey, go if you want to see more of this, holler at Marvel," basically. And there is a similar sentiment in the letter page of this book, at the same time. And I would really hope that Bobby gets another book, and hopefully she's writing it again. But they shouldn't have killed this one. But I don't.
Well, I think whatchamacallit, Chelsea Kane mentions that Katie Kubert used to be on the editorial staff, I guess, at Marvel. I think she moved over to DC, right?
No, I thought she still was.
No, the cover artist signed with DC, Joel Jones.
Yeah, because Kate Cooper still is listed as editor of this book, if I'm not mistaken. And
the letter,
Joel Jones.
I was about to say the letter from Chelsea Kane says that she's no longer at Marvel. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just looking at that on the last page. So
maybe.
But in any event, it's a shame that Mockingbird has come to an end, and I'm looking forward to actually rereading this 1 to 8 and see how it reads again. All right. So, well, I didn't read very many books this week. It looks like Tim read the exact same number I did. We've already covered 2 of mine. How about we cover? See if there's anything else we have in common. Nope. Looks like Tim hasn't read anything else I've read.
And just to note, it looks like she is at Marvel, but she was formerly a DC editor.
Okay.
Are you talking about Katie Kubert?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. She used to be editor in the Batman office, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So we don't wonder what Chelsea Kane meant by that then.
I don't know. We're just going back and just this is news. Who knows?
Strange.
Let me pull that up so I can read what y'all are reading. But let's see. Looking for something to jump to next.
Yeah. Tim,
How about
Trinity?
Okay. I actually didn't finish Trinity. I got to like halfway point of it. It looks great. Art's nice. I like it looks like some kind of weird time travel-ish stories taking place where the Trinity's sent back to the past of Clark Kent.
Except for it looks like at the end of it, spoiler alert,
Spoiler
alert. Some other shenanigans, not to spoil it for you, but there's some other shenanigans afoot in the present that is causing that. In fact, it's a slightly familiar, if you think about a certain a popular Superman issue, it looks like it could have ties to that. And also a Batman villain could be involved, or is involved.
Okay.
Yes. So, but yeah, I enjoyed this also. The whole past stuff and seeing things from Superman's point of view was kind of interesting. The only thing I will say is I don't know how far you got. Like, Bruce could have warned Clark about the doggone water, and that's all I'm gonna say. Instead of being Batman at that point, because it was like, okay, that whole scene was unnecessary. But he had to be Batman. So, but as I said, I enjoyed this book, and I didn't. Well, when I read the last issue, I didn't think I would, but apparently it's
growing on you.
It was good the first issue.
All right.
But I'm just saying, me not reading so much of DC books, especially the big three folks, which I guess I'm doing more of now. Or at least with this book and a couple others, but I'm not reading most of their separate stuff.
Right.
But I'm enjoying this.
They got good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's talk about Black Panther #7. It's another book I read. Did you read that too, Tim?
No.
All right.
I need to read 7.
Okay.
Take it away from me.
Roddy, you want to take us through this? Because I kind of had an uneven experience reading this one.
Okay.
Was this the return of Still Freeze?
No.
Okay.
It
Go ahead,
was. I forgot who's on the book, but it wasn't Still Freeze.
I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, somebody can look that up. But so at the end of last issue,
it's still
Chris
Sprouse.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So one, I'm excited about this because it was a brand new crew, and at the beginning of this book, we see them come in because so T'Challa was still bound and getting Stain to talk, and they get to a point to where Stain's like, I should be king and this and that and the other, and as villains do, go through their wahaha phase, and then he looks at T'Challa and is like, wait a minute, this is not what I thought it was, and then the crew starts come portaling in thanks to Manifold, and fight breaks out, but Stain is ready for him because he has the Fenris Quinns, Vanisher of all people, and there might have been somebody else, I can't remember. So you have Misty Knight, Storm, Manifold, and Luke Cage, that's having this fight, and there's a lot of banter going on from Misty and Luke, and a little bit from Storm, as you don't matter, and that part was pretty cool. But then on the other side of it, you have T'Challa still bound, but fighting with Stain a little bit. And then somehow Stain gets away, but T'Challa gets free. And we see somebody from a couple of issues ago that comes back that looks strikingly, and I don't know if it was a coloring thing or maybe that's actually what happened, because we see a person that looks like the Vision, or a version of the Vision.
Yeah,
that ends up helping them. But I'm believing that it is probably because T'Challa probably did something that made that happen, because this person had some cybernetics in them already, so maybe just went full blown. I don't know.
I'd have to reread because I kind of got caught surprised. I got caught by surprise by that.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't ring a bell to me when I read it, and I'm looking at it again in the physical copy, and I'm
So I
still
had to look
kind
it
of
up.
confused by that.
Yeah, so I had to look it up. This is a character who came in issue 5
Okay.
as a terrorist.
Ah, okay.
And this is when that whole bombing thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And see, there the cops are gonna now.
Yeah, this is Brooklyn after all. Shout out to Brooklyn.
But
Bibles rolling out. They're going somewhere.
Yeah, but yeah, last we saw this person, he was on a just like an operating table or a table or some kind of table being looked into, and had to go back and, like I said, pretty much went back. And on the other side of this issue, we had, well, actually, there's a couple of things that happened because there was a meeting between Tetu, who was like the bad guy that's been introduced a few issues back also, and his mentor, Shagamire, who Shagamire taught Tetu, but Tetu ended up going his own way, and taking his teachings a different way than what he thought. And when the first time they met, Shagamire was, wasn't trying to join whatever Tetu was trying to do, and they some words were had, whatever. So now Shagamire was he realized what he did then and tried to talk to him now. And now Tetu and Zindi, I guess is the girl's name, who in the beginning of the arc, fought Black Panther. They had some things happen with them, and that was the last we saw of that. But at the end of that little conversation, looks like, or at least at the end of the book, it looks like Tetu's kind of got an idea of what he's going to do, and it's kind of far and away from what his teacher was thinking. And that was the end of that. But we also get to see in the middle of this book Shuri, who is still in whatever plane of existence, still with her mom. And then there's a story that she recounts that is more than likely going to come up later. And
it'll play a role later.
Yeah, and probably I'm going to assume in World of Wakanda, but I can't say that for certain. So Shuri tells a story that the ghost of her mother kind of asks her to recount and try to figure out what that story means. And at the end of telling that story, Shuri still doesn't know until she kind of thinks about it for a while, and then something manifests itself through that. So like I said, we have a couple of different plots going on, and obviously Shuri's coming back at some point, and this is probably getting ready for that to happen. But it is still an ongoing thing. But like I said, I enjoyed reading this book. Reading, like I said, the crew stuff for me was a big part of it, but the rest of the story still has some interest to me.
I thought it was an uneven read for myself, simply because I did lose a little bit of track of where we had been in the previous issue, and I like that it did move Shuri's story along, because it felt like she's played a role in like every other issue, right? So I'm kind of glad to see that kind of moving towards some sort of resolution, and so that we can find out, is she supposed to be leading the other book, the spin-off book?
I
don't remember.
Spin-off features the two.
Well, in the beginning, yeah, but they're supposed to be going elsewhere after their arc. So it's going to start with those two, but it's going to go in other places. So there's a chance she's going to be in that book, probably. But at this point, I'm not sure.
I got you. Well, in any event, I thought it was, it was a good read, but an uneven one. In my opinion, Roddy, covered most of the points of the issue. I just wanted to highlight the various covers that were available this week for Black Panther #7. So I'm holding up the regular cover. Since Dirt's not here, you guys are gonna have to tune into the YouTube to watch me hold up my pull this week. So this is the regular cover for Black Panther #7. Mm-hmm. This is the variant edition with Miles and Black Widow on it by Lionel Yu, which is pretty cool.
That's the Champions cover.
And finally, one of this week's 2 hip hop covers.
Mm-hmm.
So now regular comics get hip hop covers?
It's not the first time. I missed it. I think it was the All New Inhumans annual had a hip hop cover, and I totally missed it. So that's the one I'm missing right now. Yeah, I think there's like a Deadpool issue too that had it too, like a non-number 1. So, yeah, you gotta keep a lookout now for these hip hop covers not just being number 1s. And that was a tribute to, what album is that? I had it written down here. It's King Miz's "Long Live the King."
Oh yeah, okay.
And this is Bill Sienkiewicz doing the tribute. All right, that's that. And the cops apparently still have not gotten to where it is they're going. So if you hear the sirens in the back, they're still out there.
So I'm going to put this one up real quick, even though I have not read it yet. Speaking of hip hop covers and long living things, Invincible Iron Man #1 had a hip hop cover.
You mean Infamous?
Infamous, excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
Infamous. Yes, I pulled that one too.
Which is, as you see, is Long Live Von Doom, which is a takeoff of Big Daddy Kane's first album.
Yep. Pretty cool.
Kane. I have no idea what's going on inside the book. I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, so we cover the 2 hip hop. We get to cover the.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good transition. We cover the 2 hip hop covers this week. Tell us about it, Tim, without spoiling everything.
There's not much. Well, they try to spoil a little bit the fallout from Civil War II. The books begin. I won't give any spoilers, but the book begins with a flashback to the Illuminati, the evil version with Doom and the Hood and Namor and White Queen, Emma Frost. Don't think I'm forgetting anyone. Oh, and the female Loki.
Right.
So they're waiting for someone to arrive. I forget what other member it was. So while they're sitting there waiting, because this is a Bendis book and people have to sit around and talk, the Hood starts asking Dr. Doom a bunch of questions. He's like, I heard that your mother was killed by a demon or something like that, and you defeated her yourself and resurrected your mother. He was like, I just wanted to know, was that true or not? And Doom's just standing there stoic, staring at him. And the Hood's like, what? I just wanted to know. And basically, Doom rattles off some threat that he could do to Hood if he doesn't stop his prattle or rattle, whatever the word is.
Prattle.
Thank you.
Mindless prattle.
Prattle. And then eventually he keeps asking questions, and eventually Doom teleports him somewhere. Basically, he just vanishes in a beam of purple light. So everyone thought that he killed him, but he didn't. He just sent him to, I think he's at India. He's like, he'll find his way back and whatnot. And then Emma Frost is like, well, that's too bad. I was hoping you killed him.
And then does Hood actually have his hood?
Yeah, this is back in the old Illuminati.
Okay.
The Hood. Yeah.
But I was about to say that was.
He could just use his powers to get back if he wanted, but. So then it flashes forward to the present, and Doom's in his nice little business suit that he's taken to wearing in the Iron Man current books. He goes to visit that Dr. Amora, or scientist lady.
Oh yeah, Tony's friend.
Because supposedly I guess Doom helped get her a new job at some college or fancy place. So she's wondering why he keeps coming around and why he's doing stuff for her. Something tells me that he reminds her of his mother, since there was a whole discussion about the mother at the beginning of the issue, but we don't find anything out, any reasons why he's taking an interest in Amora.
I mean, that interest could be interest.
But it started off with Tony having the interest. So when she shows up, they have a discussion about Tony and his situation, which Of
We
course,
still don't
Marvel's
know
like,
about it.
yeah, we don't know about it, but Marvel's gonna say, "Oh, we kept some things hidden," but they pretty much at least confirm some stuff that might have happened to Stark.
Right.
Of course, there'll still be a fake out, I'm sure. We find out so Doom ends up leaving Amora. She's paid a visit by a former acquaintance, we'll say, of Doctor Doom's, who wants to know why. Has she seen Doctor Doom lately? We don't get an answer on that. Jump ahead to Doctor Doom in Tony's lab, where he decides to take on the name of Iron Man, and then there's a discussion that takes place in the lab. I won't give that away either, but that's sets up a nice dynamic as far as co-stars for the book. I'll keep it that way.
Does it mention anything about being superior?
No. He the book ends with him putting on his suit of armor and flying off, and then some evil I'm trying to think who was. Oh yeah, and then okay. This isn't such a tease. There's some figures watching him from far away, through like a crystal ball or whatever, and it's his mom.
Oh, no kidding.
Pretty sure it was his mom. Yeah, and then the issue ends.
His mom ends up being Morgan Le Fay for some reason.
Didn't he have a thing with her though?
I think
Isn't someone's an offspring of Morgan and Doctor Doom? I thought. Was it a woman in the Fearless Defenders? This was a storyline in a book a couple of years ago. Someone is the offspring of Doom and Morgan Le Fay that was in the comic.
Now I want to look that up.
Yeah. Do the same. Doom and Morgan Le Fay.
You guys are funny.
Yeah,
This is thrilling podcast.
I know, right?
Broadcasting right now.
Podcast kills because it's not Mordred or whatever, because that's Morgan's child.
I'm mad because there's a book I've read recently. When I say recently, I mean within the last couple of years. Since we've been doing this show, I want to say. Hopefully.
And that would fit Morgan. That would fit Fearless Defenders, but
or maybe it was just Morgan Le Fay had a daughter.
Morgan Le Fay had a son. Actually, it looks like she's got more than a son, but
yeah, she probably got a couple.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I remember. Caroline Le Fay. Caroline Le Fay was in Fearless Defenders. You are absolutely right. In fact, Fearless Defenders won because she was like the main bad guy person.
Okay.
Caroline Le Fay. Oh my God, dude! You guys just totally out nerded me for real. That's really good because I'm just like, what on earth are you guys talking about?
Yeah. And she is the daughter of Dr. Doom and Morgan. So, and I don't remember that part, but yeah.
Yeah, she was born to Dr. Doom and Morgan Le Fay many years in the past. Cool.
That's funny. All right. So
anyway. That's the myths for Iron Man.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get around to reading that. Thanks for not spoiling it.
Yeah, same here. Oh, I want to go back to, speaking of Civil War 2, I want to go back to Mockingbird for 1 second, because if you did not already know the outcome of Hawkeye's trial, that comes out in that book also.
Yeah, that's been, if you were reading any of the Civil War tie-ins, you've learned what happened.
It's kind of well-worn, but just in case you haven't and you were just reading that and whatever.
All right.
Tell me, so Doctor Strange is a big deal with this movie coming up, and I think the red carpet is tonight.
It is going on as we speak, actually, because Stan Lee just went through the carpet.
I saw you read it, Roddy. Number 13.
I did, yes. So
I read it too.
It's all home week for Doctor Strange's Rogues Gallery, it seems, because there has been one per issue, and this is no exception. At the end of last issue, we see Doctor Strange disappear in a Muck turns out that he was being held prisoner by Nightmare, and in fact, in the beginning of this book, we see him in a dream sequence in the past. When he was a surgeon.
And what's funny is that they actually play the dream sequence off almost like you're reading his origin.
Exactly.
And it's funny it's funny. It's obviously well timed with the movie, as Tim was.
And that's what I was thinking. Yeah, because it was like, this is kind of coincidental in that. So
so if anyone decides to pick up the latest issue of Doctor Strange, I don't know if there's going to be another issue out by the time the movie drops in a few weeks. I have my ticket already, by the way, fellas. I may not be on that Thursday.
I'm
not gonna be on that Thursday either.
Oh no,
I
we're gonna have to push the show.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
we may have to push the show away.
I need to look into that because I'm in a new town that's slightly larger, so I guess I need to look at purchasing tickets in advance.
Yeah, I haven't bought them yet, but I figured I was going to try to make that one.
But so we have to see how many weeks is that from now? Is 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I assume red carpets are like 2 weeks out.
Yeah,
so
it's only 2 weeks out.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
That's crazy. So anyway, just to get back to issue number 13. So as I was saying, the opening sequence, that if you did read issue number 12, you understand is likely a dream sequence, really does feel like an origin. And it's interesting that in the sequence, Doctor Strange is played off as having a very, very healthy yeah, that's putting it mildly, because all of these females are basically asking to come back to bed like every other panel.
Right, basically I'm trying to keep him from learning the secret.
Figuring out what's actually going on. Right. So we find out that Baron Mordo, who feels like he's being robbed of his final victory, is still sort of hanging out in front of the Sanctum Sanctorum, and we finally get to a point in the dream sequence where where Doctor Strange does finally figure things out, and there is a great, very well written, phenomenally drawn, wacky looking sequence. Right, the fight sequence between Doctor Strange and Nightmare is insane. And it even draws on some things that are in our current events, namely crazy clowns. I'll leave it at that. Crazy,
which is the second book that does that. Well, the first book was this week, but
yes. So if you're living in any town in the U.S. right now where there's a crazy clown problem, you will recognize this and laugh. Yes. But there is a cool resolution to it at the end of this. But then, as Roddy alluded to earlier, at the end of this book, we're left with a mild cliffhanger because it is Old Foes Week, or Old Foes Month.
In this arc is basically, because I think Mortal even said it, or somebody said it last issue, it's pretty much open season for Doctor Strange now that everything is
on Doctor Strange,
on Doctor Strange, because of everything that's happened with the last days of the magic, presumably, and the empirical. So that just kind of opened up a can of everybody gunning for him. So and now we have a bunch of his enemies kind of making good on that, and they even mentioned that again, like this issue, because that was like the no, it wasn't anyway, but I was like Mordo. It was somewhere between the Mordo and Nightmare saying something about like, it's been, the gates have been open and people are coming after you. So
all right, isn't it cool? Isn't it cool seeing Chris Bachalo in his element, or Bachalo in his element?
Yeah, this is a well-drawn book, especially with that the sequence that you were talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What's funny is that I was reading it on, I was reading the preview copy on my tablet, my smaller tablet, and it's pages like this, it's sequences like this that make me reconsider having a small tablet I can hold in my hand, a 7-inch tablet that's easy to hold on to on the subway, and upgrading to like a 9 or 10-inch tablet that I can just. I can still hold in one hand, but it's a little more awkward. But I can more easily enjoy these splash pages for their art. And that's
Right.
one thing. It's one thing that I, like now that I look at it on the printed page, in my physical copy, it's amazing looking. The whole sequence is just phenomenally drawn. Tim, I don't know if you've been reading this, but you should absolutely read this. And especially take a look at the art. Take a look at what the sequences that we're referring to. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm up to date on Doctor Strange. I just haven't gotten to this week's issue yet.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, and like I said, I definitely love the fact that, because of what's going on with magic, he kind of has to go through new ways of dealing with his foes, and he comes up with a pretty interesting one in this one.
Right, and actually is, kind of trailblazing his own way through magic. He's kind of creating.
Which I think, which that was established last issue.
Right. All right. Did anyone else read Amazing Spidey number 20? Because that covers that's the last of the books I read this week.
Not yet.
All right. I will not spoil too much. I will speak in very broad generalities because there's quite a few things that are revealed in this issue.
Clone conspiracy tie-in.
It is a very vital clone conspiracy tie-in because, I'm not spoiling anything because on the freaking cover, Doc Ock, we know he played a big role in the last clone conspiracy book. And we basically dive into how Otto Octavius is the way he is now, and how, in fact, he has become part of the Jackal's group of villains. So that's it. I can leave it at that. It's very well done. It is a must-read for anyone who's reading this crossover tie-in, crossover miniseries. And that's that for my books. I don't even have anything for Rapid Fire. So sad. And there's so many books out this week, too.
Yeah, indeed.
We get to what we can get to.
Yeah.
I have 2 books left.
It's a sad week.
Rapid Fire time?
I know. No, like, how sad is it? Like 2 of us only have 5 books each. That's bad.
Well, let's see. Roddy's only got 1, 2.
You got at least 10.
4 left.
So, what are you going to hit Death of X?
Yeah, we can Rapid Fire. But go for it.
Well, I was going to
Death of X
is the Death of X variant cover by Dale Keown that I pulled this week. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
So, I'm trying to be supportive of this series since we're finally going back in time and figuring out what happened between the X-Men and the Inhumans. I like that it's a 4-issue miniseries, so they don't have any time to waste. They get right to the important beats of the story. Mm-hmm. It starts off with Storm visiting the Inhumans to see if they knew that the Terrigen cloud mist was harmful to mutants. Medusa says she doesn't. It basically came down to Storm wanted to see Medusa's reaction to tell if she was telling the truth or not. And she believes Medusa, so X-Men and Inhumans are going to try to work together to figure out a resolution. But before they can do that, Cyclops and Emma take it upon themselves to with the help of the Stepford Cuckoos to sort of transmit a vision of Cyclops to everyone on the Earth, basically an astral projection into everyone's minds. Cyclops basically revealing the secret that the Terrigen mist is harmful. He doesn't really go into so much that it's harmful to mutants, but it's harmful to humans. Basically saying the humans have been lying. They're only out for themselves. The mist is harmful. We'll protect humanity. We'll stop the Inhumans. Yada yada yada. There's 2 clouds because the cloud is split up, which I remember being referenced in one of the old Inhuman. I think maybe Inhuman mentioned it, or all new Inhumans did it. But so there's one of the clouds is heading towards Madrid. So the Inhumans want to get there first to evacuate any mutants that might be in the path. But since Cyclops' astral projection, the whole country's freaking out and there's riots and whatnot. So they really have no time to evacuate mutants in the way. So I think it's ISO and Crystal decide to try to use their powers to push the cloud out the way, but of course they can't push the entire cloud out the way, and it's physically straining both of them. But then Storm shows up and uses her powers of wind to help push it along. So then they go about trying to stop the riots in the streets. There was a new Inhuman that debuted last issue, Dice K, that I guess has like the power to put people to sleep. So Crystal asks him to put every single person in Madrid to sleep, but since he's just new and learning how to use his powers, he doesn't know how to sort of hone it where it doesn't affect the X-Men. But Crystal's like, just do it to everyone. We'll explain it to the X-Men later. Puts them all to sleep. Cyclops looks at that as a strike against the mutants, and I think it ends with Emma making a call to who else do you want to call when you need a powerful mutant on your side? You call Magneto.
Magneto, of course.
Yeah. So ends with that. So Magneto will be joining the fray, as they say, next issue.
I have not been so keen on this series. It's I haven't read this one yet, so I can't judge. But just based on that, I'm not so keen on it right now.
I went on a rant earlier today on stuff that we'll get to in the comic book news, I'm sure. But I will just say I grew up reading the X-Men books. Not reading that much of them now, unfortunately, because there's only like 3 or 4. Somehow, All New Wolverine seems to be the best of the group, or the one I'm enjoying the most. And I never read solo Wolverine comics, hardly ever, if at all, because it just never interested me.
No kidding.
But what they got coming up with the Resurrection, hopefully, cross my fingers. Well, but I'll get into that later.
Yes, we can discuss that in the news section. Stay tuned, true believers.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I was wondering when they were gonna have Storm try to do something with the cloud. And another thing, I was like, I wonder how long it's gonna take for that cloud to become sentient, because that seems to be the next step in all of this.
I hadn't considered that. They do mention during Storm and Medusa's talk at the beginning that the mist affects the mist affects mutants differently. Some get ill right away, some it takes a little longer, some it doesn't seem to bother them at all, which is a nice way for them to pick and choose which characters. Yeah, which characters.
How does it affect the mutants with healing factors? Or has that come into play yet?
Hasn't come into play. How many mutants have healing factors left?
Probably good. Well, we know 2? At least 2. 3. Well, wait, 3.
What, Deadpool and...
Oh, yeah.
Deadpool, Old Man Logan, X-23.
Oh, that's right, Old Man Logan.
Or Wolverine, excuse me.
Yeah, those
Is Sabretooth still around?
Who's that?
Sabretooth.
Good question.
He's in Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, so he's around. He's got a healing factor. That's 4. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Well, so are we rapid fire at this point?
Yeah, you're all rapid fire. I'm done.
I got one book. I've got 2 books left, so sure.
Okay. Well, let's do some insects here real quick. And another cat book. So, hang on a second. Spider-Gwen, number 13.
Okay.
I had to try that. Sorry. So we have the Halloween issue where Gwen and the Mary Janes go trick-or-treating. Gwen's kind of, in a bad, not in a bad mood, but she's going to stay after the events of last issue, and her father about to go to jail for, helping her. So she's not really talking about that much, and we see the Mary Jane's kind of talking about her in the beginning of this. Mary Jane has a theory that Gwen could be Spider-Gwen. Little does she know how right she is, except for, well, not except for, but They're going trick-or-treating. They end up at this old carnival that's like way out in the woods that apparently it was owned by Mysterio. They go, yeah, and actually they do that. That actually happens because they go up to just like fortune teller machines, which is in the shape of Mysterio, and it starts weaving the tail of the carnival. But it breaks down, and then after that they go further in because of one of their cats, or the person's cat, which is called Murderface, which is a great name for a cat. Kind of gets scared and goes into the thing. So I think it was Betty. No, what's it Betty? I can't remember. One of them went into there after the cat. The rest of them fall into a trap that and a whole bunch of animatronic stuff kind of comes to life and starts to attack them. Mary Jane's like, "Look, we know you're Spider-Gwen, so go back and help us out." And she can't because she didn't bring her. Well, one, she lost her powers, and she didn't bring her a wrist thing with her. So, and she's still kind of despondent. So it was like, she's just like, well, I can't do it. So, but they end up whoever there was that was looking for the cat, whose name is escaping me right now. I think it was Betty Brant, actually. Now that I think about it. Finds Mysterio's control room and finds Mysterio himself, who ends up being... So this whole thing ends up being like a Scooby episode at the end of it, but we still don't know who Mysterio is because Betty finds him, takes down Mysterio, and at first ends up being one person and then ends up being somebody else because she didn't buy it the first time, and she pulls off a couple different masks. And it ends up being nothing but a bunch of myths, but she ends up taking care of the robots that are plaguing the rest of them with a big boom. And there's a thriller reference, as one would expect with a Halloween issue, and that's pretty much how that plays off. And they go back to they end up going back to, or on their way back to the city after that. I know, right? So it ends up being a pretty good read because it was pretty fun. Like I said, ended up being a Scooby issue of a sense, or at least referenced as such, and part of it because you kind of saw where it was going in the midst of it. But it was just a good, solid Halloween effort. So issue if you like that kind of stuff. Let's see, Spider-Woman number 12. We have Jess's day off. Her, the kid, and Roger and his kid are all on Staten Island at the beach. But apparently, if any trouble were to come about, that Porcupine would have to be the one to take care of it. And surely enough, it does, because at the beginning of this issue, we see a news report that Miles Morales was taking on Sandman, who apparently gets away in a police vehicle. So in the midst of the issue, ends up on the same beach that Jess and Porcupine are. And of course, Porcupine has to take care of it. And after a few missteps, which apparently, Jess has been kind of training on how to deal with certain folks, including Sandman. He finally remembers how to deal with them, and then swiftly takes care of it after that. And the other cool part about this is you see, which may not end up well in a couple of issues if the solicits seem to be in the thing. But we have a moment near the end of this issue where Roger's kid, who knows he's the Porcupine, kind of sees, him fighting the Sandman, and Jess was kind of like telling her some things about even though it looks like he's losing, he's actually winning, that kind of stuff, so it wouldn't look bad on him. But like I said, he ends up winning and fighting in his way, and there's a little moment between he and his kid at the end of this, and that's pretty much where it ends. Like I said, and it doesn't seem like it's usually if you have a tender moment like that, something bad seems like it's going to happen, but we don't know. But other than that, I enjoyed this issue. Let's see, last intake book. Black Widow number 7 starts a new arc. No More Secrets. There's a couple of Star Wars records on Star Wars references on one page, which was pretty good. After the events of last issue, she has the employ of one Weeping Lion who was after her. We end up seeing visions of the past of her first kill, which apparently ends up in the midst of this book, ended up being a couple of members of Weeping Lion's family that we find out early on. But at this point in the present, he is helping her, trying to find out what her former headmaster's secrets are with whatever new school that they're trying to train, basically a new red room that they're trying to head up. And that gets resolved in a slight way, even though I think there may be still more to come with that. We don't know. And at the end of the book, we see maybe some still goings on with Weeping Lion that will probably end up coming out at some point in the future. But like I said, that was also a pretty decent read. I got one more book. Captain America Sam Wilson. So Flag Smasher shows up, takes some folks hostage. Steve Rogers comes in to help. They go up to in this where Flag Smasher is having folks hostage. Flag Smasher's, does a villainy monologue for like a couple of different minutes, which, by the way, Nick Spencer kind of writes some very loquacious villains, but I kind of dig it somehow.
Just like an Ant-Man.
Exactly. So after they're doing that, a fight breaks out as per usual, which ends up with some people getting killed, and Sam trying to prevent another person get killed. That doesn't happen. All the while, all the stuff's happening, there's also some background stuff with some data bombs that Rick Jones was trying to decipher, dealing with the people that are held hostage. And he kind of gets the lead on that, but not before, like I said, the last person who was trying to be prevented to get killed by Flag Smasher gets killed by a mistimed throw. Well, what we thought to be a mistimed throw by Sam with his shield, and come to find out that there was a person. Yeah, spoiler alert: there is a person that is close to the scene that is behind that particular incident. And as a matter of fact, not only that, but the whole hostage affair in the first place, as we see from the ending of this book. And if you've been reading the Captain America books, you know who and what we're talking about. So that is
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway.
All right. So
all of my books.
Clicks of the week.
Wait,
I've got two, sir.
Oh, you still got two. You got two with DC. Okay, go ahead.
So once we finally move off Google Hangouts and we lose the sound effects, I see Roddy's going to be our new sound guy.
Yeah, maybe not. We'll work something out.
We will.
So Batman #9 begins the I Am Suicide story arc, where Batman goes into Arkham Asylum to assemble his Suicide Squad to go take on Bane in Santa Prisca. Issue starts off with sort of a story from Bane of his childhood growing up in the sort of rough and tough prison of Santa Prisca. Then it moves into the present, moves to Batman taking Amanda Waller up on her offer of forming a team to go help. Basically, the Psycho Pirate is with Bane, and Batman needs Psycho Pirate to cure Gotham Girl from her sort of fear-induced state that Psycho Pirate. So you see, you have, which I didn't notice at the time, but like Bronze Tiger is recruited, who was an original member of the Suicide Squad. some Julie and some other character I'd never heard of before. I think we're also members of Suicide Squad. As he's walking through Arkham Asylum, you see these other sort of obscure Batman rogue villains, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I think their names were. You see Calendar Man, who was in the Rebirth issue. Kite, I think not Kite Man, but some other like random person is shown. And then you see a blonde-headed girl in a room. She blows on the glass to fog it up, and then she creates a symbol in the fog she created, and the symbol is the Legion symbol. So more than likely, it's the same girl from the DC Universe Rebirth issue. Her nameplate on her cell is Doe, so probably Jane Doe, since they don't know what her name is. But you get your Legion tease yet again. More than likely, it'll be Tom King writing a Legion book in the future, because they've said that Legion is coming. That was one of the books that they held back on, or one of the cast of characters they said they were going to hold back on for the time being. And King has stated he's a big Legion fan, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up writing that. And then the final member, the original ventriloquist is chosen. And then finally Catwoman. So that's Batman number 9, and Nightwing number 7 starts a new story arc where Nightwing goes after Raptor because he believes Raptor double-crossed him. They have a big, loud, screaming physical fight with one another. And Raptor teases some more about his history with the Graysons, specifically his mother. And Dick ends up finding a photo of his mother and who we can assume is Raptor together at the circus. And that's it.
I was going to mention that Tweedledee and Tweedledum was on Gotham last week.
Oh, the show.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, my only reference point is the animated series for so many of these characters.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like they were probably on the cartoon maybe at one point in time.
I believe they were, yeah.
So.
Good stuff.
All righty, pick clicks of the week now. Now is the time?
Now.
Yeah.
Now. All right. Let's see. I think mine is fairly simple. I only have a few to pick from. I'm tempted to choose Astonishing Ant-Man number 13, but I think I had the most fun reading. Oh, man, this is tough. I'm going to go with Amazing Spider-Man number 20.
Seems like a safe pick.
It was good.
I'm going to go with, for my small selection, I'm going to go with Batman number 9. Because Mikhail Janin is on art and the book looks great.
Nice.
Plus, I like this. I'm excited for this I Am Suicide story. King said he's going to take Bane back to being this big threat. He kind of felt like he's become sort of a joke.
Yeah, because he became a meme for such a long time. So, how about you, Roddy?
Well, before I do mine, I think it's good that we should probably bring up Dirt's, which is Zombie Tramp number whatever it is this week.
Does it come out every week that he's on the show?
That would be some funny mess if that was the case. No, because he's been on the show a couple times when it's been out, so that's not it. Well, from my small meager selection, this is kind of tough because there was a couple of great ones. So shout out to all the books that are sadly ending this week. Man. I hate this.
Yeah. I don't blame you. There are a lot of books to choose from. I can imagine some of the books I would have liked if I'd gotten to read them, in time to pick a click of the week this week.
So, going to go with, despite the fact of some of the revisions, I know, right? Despite some of the revisions that that they put in, I'm going to go with Mockingbird #8.
Nice.
I do love the Black Panther, and Doctor Strange was really great, but I think this could very well edge. This was kind of on par with that, and not just because of the fact that it's ending, even though we tend to do that sometimes, but with good reason.
Right. Listen, Astonishing Ant-Man 13 came really close to me. Pretty close for me. So it was that good a book.
So
alrighty. So let's pull in our first ad read of the night. So let me tell you about Skull Candy. Skull Candy makes the best headphones, earbuds, and gaming headsets, all with lifetime warranties. Skull Candy produces many types of audio accessories, including headphones, sports earbuds, Xbox gaming headsets, PlayStation gaming headsets, DJ headphones, iPod headphones, and MP3 headphones, and the soon-to-be Switch headphones. And now, for the listeners of the KLIQ Nation's Comic Book Chronicles, Skull Candy offers free standard shipping on your order. To help keep our podcast free, order from Skull Candy by going to cspn.us, that's cspn.us, then clicking on the Keep Our Podcasts Free link. Click on the Skull Candy banner, and then shop for high-quality audio accessories with free standard shipping. Skull Candy Audio through cspn.us. Do it today. Alrighty.
First up in the cinematic news of the week, you can watch Vixen Season 2 on the CWC app.
So this came out, that came out last week, actually while we were recording, but yeah, it looks like they only have the first episode though, and it's like 6 months long. It's pretty much the stuff that you saw if you've seen the trailer for the new season. It's what it is.
Yeah, if it's like last season, it's every week a new episode.
Right, that seems to be the case.
It's boo.
Yeah,
dump them all at once. Don't make me wait.
Or, just make it a full-fledged series and don't do this 5-minute craziness.
Mark Guggenheim reveals Captain Cold's Legends return, talks Arrow's 100th episode.
Yay.
Sony
am I supposed to applaud for that?
Nah.
I mean,
All right.
Standard news. Sony nabbed Professor Marston. Biopic about Wonder Woman creator stars Luke Evans, Rebecca Hall, and Bella Heathcote.
Yeah, this has to be interesting because outside of creating Wonder Woman, he had an quite interesting life. So that's ought to make for a pretty decent biopic.
There's a bunch of Doctor Strange TV spots.
Well, just one TV spot, but the first one is about. So there was brand synergy for corporate synergies at work here, because there was a clip from General Hospital that just pretty much name checks the Doctor Strange movie. That was pretty funny. So if you ever get the chance to check out the show notes, which is right there underneath me, go check that out. And then the other one was actual TV spot.
We got new trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with a new poster. And regular and red band / international trailers for Logan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how to react to that. I don't know if I have an appropriate sound effect for this, because
trailer looked fine.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought it looked cool. I'm kind of cringing at the thought of how they're going to mix and match some of these storylines.
Here,
but
let me help you with that.
Well, definitely there is a Western theme. They also obviously use a song that evokes that kind of imagery that's Johnny Cash's cover of Nine Inch Nails "Hurt." So, that definitely evokes some of that imagery. But at the end of the day, like I said, they're not pulling just from Old Man Logan, but they're pulling from some of the other Wolverine-centric storylines. So it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to pull in. We know from casting news that Mr. Sinister is probably going to be in this, Essex, and that they're Reavers, but they may not be Hellfire Club Reavers. We're not sure. We'll see how that goes.
Well, yeah, they could do that part, because I was thinking when I saw that trailer, like, what else could they pull from Old Man Logan? Because considering there's like one or two parts that they don't have access to, or at least small parts. Like I granted,
right, like the Hulks. Yeah,
exactly, or like Hawkeye, I guess. But yeah, who knows? It's weird.
Alrighty.
So before Hulk, Mark Ruffalo auditioned to be Doctor Doom.
Wow. Can you imagine how different that would be?
Well, yes and no, but this basically has to do with the 94 terrible Fantastic Four movie. So this was Ruffalo before the Ruffalo we all know and love, and that was not a great movie all around. So I don't know even if he was, if he could even save that movie. But this is basically from the
Roger Corman version.
Yes, and this is from the documentary on that movie where we found this out.
Gotcha.
There's rumor that Ruby Rose and 3 more actresses are also testing for the role of Domino in Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arrow's boss clears up the Suicide Squad character embargo. So for those who don't know, the
spoilers for this week, I guess.
Floyd Lawton returned to Arrow this week. Actually, I want to read this. DC still gets veto power in instances. It's always a case-by-case thing, so I never like talking about like, oh, this is what we can do going into the future. I don't know what the future holds because I haven't approached that case-by-case situation. Okay. Yeah, too bad they can't bring back Amanda Waller since
I was exactly thinking
killed.
That. And I was thinking, it was like, well, they could actually do it, given that, well, unless I missed something. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen this week's Arrow yet. Flashpoint still hasn't hit that show yet.
Well, it has, kind of.
It has?
Oh, yeah, okay. They even showed the clip in the, last week on Arrow, technically it was last week on Flash.
Wait.
Because
I remember last week on Arrow, and I don't remember any Flashpoint stuff going on in there.
No, I'm saying on this week's Arrow.
This week. Oh, okay. So it catches up this week. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, they referenced that they showed when Felicity and Barry were talking, and stuff that was changed.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, let's see. So Arrow had to hand over its toys, killing off Deadshot and Amanda Waller, banishing associated characters like Manu Bennett's Deathstroke or Nick Tarabay's Captain Boomerang to off-screen exile. I forgot Captain Boomerang appeared on Arrow and not The Flash.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because Flash is
Captain
in
Boomerang.
Episode.
I know. Has Captain Boomerang appeared in a Flash comic recently? I feel like he hasn't.
Wait. Wasn't he the one with Captain Cold when they were in the Justice League, or was that somebody else? And that was
Captain Cold.
I know, but wasn't there someone else?
He was the only villain character added to the group, and then that even kind of went away by the time the Dark Side War started. Anyway,
yeah.
Black Panther casts Ready Player One's Letitia Wright as Sarita.
Is it Letitia or Letitia? I didn't read that.
I'm not sure. I'm sure I probably said it wrong.
So it's that. I think that's the typo, and it is Letitia. Looks like in the article, but the headline has a letter missing.
Okay, I see it now. So that's the woman in Captain America: Civil War. No,
Well, no.
that's
no,
not
no, no.
the bodyguard
no,
lady.
no. That was Florence Kosumba, which she's going to be in Black Panther, and apparently they gave her. Well, which we talked about this last week, but she has a name because she's
Also,
going to be
this is an original character for the movie.
apparently, yes.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get into the comic news. Scroll. So yeah, the January 2017 solicits came out. Go to your favorite comic book site to get the rundown of what new to expect in 3 months. I did do
show notes.
Oh, the show notes. I did do an article on bamsmackpal.com of my 5 top takeaways from the DC solicits, and plan on doing the same thing for the Marvel ones.
Nice.
Let's see. Comic news. Linda Carter and Gal Gadot will be there when Wonder Woman is named an honorary UN ambassador. Congrats.
Yay.
Something that I thought was a fake story, or just like some like fan-made thing, turns out to be true. DC and Boom Studios announced Justice League planning more from Power Rangers. But I like the creative team, Tom Taylor and Stephen Byrne.
Yeah, I honestly thought this was a joke.
Yeah, I do all these like articles on CBR for, like, I did an article a couple weeks ago about, was it Blade and some other character mashup movie. They mashed up it was Blade and Ghost Rider mashup film. I did an article on that, so I saw Justice League and
Power Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, oh, some fan thing. But nope, it's real.
I mean, given the number of crossovers there has been, between DC
and Boom,
and
DC's exactly. DC's on a good working relationship with Boom and IDW, so.
Mm-hmm. So this one wasn't that hard to think about.
Well, as friend of the show William Bruce West says, Power Rangers aren't really like superhero. He doesn't see them as superheroes, so that it's like a team up that doesn't make sense.
Well, there's a lot of them that doesn't make sense either. But
come on, they teamed up Punisher and Archie. They can team up virtually anyone.
Yeah, basically.
Mignola returns to Hellboy's world for The Visitor. How and why he stayed.
Yeah, maybe this is why Dirt wasn't around, because he was too busy,
celebrating.
Yes.
There's another Deadpool Almage character created.
No.
Yeah. Squirrel Pool.
Enough already. Enough already.
Bleh. That's
what
I say. IDW announces.
Roddy's got variations on our sound effects now. Testing them out.
IDW announces Biff to the Future from Bob Gale, Derek Fridolfs, and Alan Robinson.
I like the spin on the title.
We already got to Mockingbird canceled, and then we get to all the Marvel teases for Resurrection. We got supposedly new series spinning out of Resurrection. Iceman #1, Jean Grey #1, Weapon X #1, and Generation X.
Degeneration X. Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of jazzed. It's funny. I inherited a portion of someone's collection, and it completed my an actual run of Generation X, and I had dropped the book after it just got it was just too much of a burden to keep reading it. But I kind of missed the team dynamic in that, especially in the early, let's say like the early, like the first like 15 to 20 issues. Chris Botcholo was in there doing art. It was a lot of great stuff. I'm kind of looking forward to see what new or young mutants they put into this book.
I like that in the image, it included every like sort of young mutant team that X-Men have seen in their history. You had the New Mutants on there, even though X-Force wasn't represented. But
I thought it was.
they kind of had. Was X-Force on there?
I gotta take a look at
I
the
feel
image
like
again.
Which version?
No, because I feel like X-Force kind of like they graduated, so they didn't count that. But it was like New
Right.
Mutants, Generation Hope, Generation X, New X-Men, and one more I'm forgetting. I feel like.
Oh, I was about to say you just said it. Though. I was going to ask if they did the new X-Men one.
Which I want to go back and read all those new X-Men stuff.
They were all right. I don't too much care about that team, but it was actually a relatively fun book.
Yeah. It looked like it was, and I liked like Humberto Rambos did some of the art, and was it Chris Yost wrote it? He's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't remember.
So of all the teasers, the Generation X one has me the most excited. Cross my fingers.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's young people, then more than likely, I could see Dennis Hopeless riding it.
The only thing I kind of I hate about this, well, not hate. This is a little strong word, but I don't know. I feel like, well, Iceman and Jean Grey are getting their first book, so neither one of them have had a solo book before, and I feel like, sadly, it might last longer than Storm's book.
They'll make it to double digits, like 12, 10, between 10 and 13, since that's when everything seems to be canceled nowadays.
Yeah.
Hey, why not? They do the seasonal model anyway, so they don't expect these titles to last that long. They have the creative team pitch like a 12-issue story and cut it if the sales are horrible. Seems to be the way they go. After significant delays, Civil War 2 number 7 moves back up 1 week. So it's now scheduled to be released November 23rd instead of November 30th, when it was originally supposed to come out yesterday, Wednesday, October 19th.
Yeah, that's a big change, man. Wow. Woo.
There was rabble over Riri Williams variant covers for Invincible Iron Man number 1.
Not totally unjustified rabble, but nevertheless.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, have these people not seen J. Scott Campbell draw any female?
Actually, I would answer that probably not. But
but at the same time,
that still doesn't.
Exactly. At the same time, I understand it because the character is not quite 15. So
she's 15,
that's
she was
pushing
based off a 14-year-old.
Yeah, that's pushing it a bit. You know what I mean? But it's at the same time you kind of see J. Scott Campbell's art, kind of pushing in that direction anyway. So
I don't think she looked that bad myself, but that's just my opinion.
You could see it, right? You could just see it. You can understand the criticism, but you just don't think it's as bad as they're making it out.
The problem is they've got all these extra eyes on the product now, so when people they just look at that and that's all they see. They think that's what the art's going to look like on the inside, and
that's not. I don't know if that's true.
I think some of that has to do with it. They just see that cover and they're like, "Why they got her looking like that?" That's how they think she's going to look.
Yeah,
the article
given the other issues, given the other images that we've seen over there, like I'm not sure if that's the case, but who knows?
But yeah, so I get the frustration. I didn't get frustrated over it, but I can see the frustration.